Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, he's our guy, Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department, here for some information and some speculation about the Minnesota Vikings, who get a really important player back in the mix that we will talk about going into Europe. But look at you, man. Awaken 180 has got you looking pretty good there, Dukes.
Well, I appreciate that, Phil. You making a run at me? That's okay if you are. You and I have a long history.
Sorry, I've been thinking about it for 20 years, Doogie, and this is me shooting my shot right now. Yeah.
All good, Phil. I welcome the attention. Thank you. Yes, thanks to Awaken 180. The website is awaken180weightloss.com. I am down now 12 and a half pounds. The key was to shed some of the chunkiness in my face. Mission accomplished. It was post-State Fair. I said, hey, okay. Like, I'm large as is. I need to shed some of this girth. And so thanks to Awaken 180, well on my way. The best thing for me is having more energy. Part-time Uber driver over the weekend. Football game at Minnetonka High School. Ran into Everson Griffin, by the way. Great to see Everson doing well. He's had some stuff going on in his life. Everson in a good spot, though, after seeing him on Saturday. Multiple baseball games. Homecoming dance. But before the homecoming dance, homecoming dinner. Shuttling kids all over the place. Well, had energy. Then into Sunday. Vikings game. U.S. Bank Stadium. All the work post-game. And I had all sorts of energy. The beauty of Awaken 180 is they provide you 80% of what you need to consume on a daily basis. Weekly calls with your guidance counselor, with your coach. They tell you how to eat, when to eat, all that stuff. The why behind everything. I love being on the move, having these protein shakes, chocolate shakes, vanilla shakes. They taste wonderful. Throw some water in, shake them up, boom. You're ready to go. There's no workouts required. You eat to lose weight. The website, awaken180weightloss.com. It's Awaken180 Weight Loss. The results are there, I promise. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Dukes, Jordan Addison is back for week 4 here as the Vikings go play a game in Dublin against the Steelers. There's a bunch of things to get to here. There's some injury stuff, and we'll get your thoughts on Kevin O'Connell's Wentz versus McCarthy sort of discussion and dialogue. But what kind of a help is Jordan Addison going to be to this offense? What do the Vikings expect?
Yeah, enormous. I mean, I go back to August, 12th, 13th, 14th, those joint practices mid-August with the Patriots. How good, Phil, Jordan Addison was those 2 particular days, but throughout training camp. He is a number 1 receiver, but here, number 2. Wait until you see the contract extension he will sign. The Vikings have, in their minds, this idea that they are going to pay Addison. Now, could that change? Could that shift? Sure. But they feel like they hit, big-time hit on a first-round pick. The idea is, in a pass-first offense in many ways, that you want 2 dynamic receivers. Jordan Addison can get one of those Garrett Wilson-type contracts, if not more. Terry McLaurin, $30 million a year plus. He is that good. I'm telling you, he would be a number 1 on so many different teams. So, yeah, pumped to see him play against the Steelers on Sunday. No doubt about that. Then I think about Ryan Kelly's return. He is progressing. All signs point to Ryan Kelly starting center, only missing the 1 game against the Bengals, being back on Sunday against Pittsburgh. Then I think about pretty soon thereafter, perhaps as soon as week 5, trending in that direction, C.J. Ham returning. Now, I get it. They miss Aaron Jones Sr., but by October 19th, that Eagles game, following the bye, now Aaron still would have to miss that game. So I guess Aaron could return, week 8, having to miss 4 games. But by that Philly game, Donovan Jackson back as well. You think about having all their parts back for that stretch. Eagles, Chargers, Ravens, Lions, Packers soon thereafter. The 2 games late in the season against Green Bay. The 2 games back half of the season against Detroit, having just about their full complement of guys. But on Addison, Phil, yeah, I mean, he is ready to go. He's been in meetings. He's been able to be at the facility the last couple of weeks. So KOC told us on Monday, hey, look sharp. He's in a good spot. He is ready to go on Sunday.
And when J.J. McCarthy does return at some point in time here eventually, I am very curious to see Jordan Addison back on the field with him, because going back to training camp, that connection was clearly there. Like I would say that Jordan and J.J. had the best chemistry easily, because Jefferson was out for most of training camp, if not all, of anyone I saw. Like, that was a very impressive combination. So when you get the combination of Darisaw blocking for McCarthy, Addison back, that chemistry there, team still feeling that they have to double Jefferson, I think that could be a very lethal combination. Is there going to be a ton of deep shots? I don't know, but I think that there is something there that will help McCarthy a ton. And to go back, Dukes, too, the offensive line, it sort of sucks. Like, I want to see this offensive line play together. Darisaw was out the first 2 games. Now Jackson's out. Kelly missed the last game. Like, I really want to see this new look, especially from an interior standpoint, offensive line gel and play together. So hopefully Jackson comes back if everyone stays healthy, and we do get an extended stretch of seeing all of these guys on the field at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, knock on whatever, but like, Jackson should be back October 19th against the Eagles. So, barring some sort of minor or catastrophic injury the next couple weeks, they should have their starting 5, that offensive line that we feel really, really good about. They should have that offensive line back for that Eagles game on October 19th. Yeah, I mean, Judd, I'll credit you. It was last Thursday in this space, you pushed the panic button somewhat on Donovan Jackson. Now, in the moment, I'd not heard of anything suggesting that Donovan wouldn't be able to play against the Bengals, but that was astute by you, sensing that something might be off. So he heads to LA. I need to double check on this. Yeah, that Dr. Shin, Stephen Shin, who did the Jalen Naylor hand surgery, he's operated on a number of professional athletes. Alex Kirilloff, former Twin. We can go up and down the list. Dr. Shin there in LA. But Donovan goes out there, right? So that's a second opinion. So there's more to that story. I'm always fascinated to hear Vikings side. What did the Vikings diagnose their team doctors with the outside opinion? Just going back to Jalen Naylor, remember, the Vikings said, hey, no surgery. You'll be back in 5 to 6 weeks. Well, he says, I want to play week 1. This is big for me. Contract year. No Jordan Addison. My time to shine. Yeah. And hey, Jalen Naylor has been really good these 3 games without Jordan Addison. Now, hey, I get it. His role is about to change somewhat, but if you're his representation, you can point and mark to, hey, look at those first 3 games of the year. Well, it took a second opinion, an outside opinion, for that surgery to occur. So I'm fascinated to hear eventually just everything about this Donovan Jackson situation. Now, on Blake Brandel, do we go Brandel on the pronunciation, or is it Brandel?
I believe it's right? I think it's Brandel. Brandel. I think the emphasis is on the brand part. Brandel.
Okay, so Blake Brandel. Okay. Like, I think about last year, Phil, you would probably know the numbers better than me, but when Christian Darisaw was in there, I felt pretty good about Blake at left guard, having Darisaw to his left. To me, Blake's play dropped off after that Rams game, after the Christian Darisaw injury. Maybe it was trending a little bit that direction, but for 2 weeks, I feel okay with Blake in there. But yeah, look forward to Donovan Jackson returning, I believe, October 19th.
Yeah, that's real quick, because that is an astute observation by you, sir, Darren, that what week did Darisaw went out, like week 8 or something?
October 23rd or 4th.
Week 8.
Okay.
Thursday night game at LA.
Yeah.
And prior to that point, Brandel had only given up 8, 9. It was 10 pressures in like 4 games, like 2 pressures a game. And then from that point forward, he had games of 5 pressures allowed. He had at least 2 pressures allowed in every game except the Falcons game. But then he had an 8-burger against Detroit, a 5 against LA, and the sacks kind of racked up. So it was week 9 against Indy, and I don't think Darisaw played in that game. Blake Brandel gave up 3 sacks, 5 pressures immediately. So yeah, it helps to have one of the best in the world to your left, and you can sort of tag team off of him.
Yeah, I mean, how good was Darisaw? Now, hey, he had some help. Like, I thought Thielen had a really good game on Sunday. There were some tight formations where Thielen was close to Darisaw being able to chip Trey Hendrickson. Then I think about the return of Harrison Smith. So you think about the first Isaiah Rodgers touchdown. It was 2 or 3 plays prior. The Bengals are moving down the field. 22 was on the sideline. I mean, that was the plan, in and out, not a full workload. But I think in that moment, Flo was like, okay, since he is moving, let me get Hitman back in there. Great tip, great play by Rodgers, great block by Grenard. I also think about Ivan Pace Jr. I get it, small sample size of 3 games, but to me, Ivan Pace Jr. had by far his best game of the 3 on Sunday. Just having Harrison be able to line Ivan up. I had somebody make that astute observation to me later on Sunday into Monday that, hey, think about Ivan Pace Jr., how much he benefited from Harrison Smith playing on Sunday. So just the importance of getting so many of these guys back. I feel like it's a double-digit type win team when they have their full complement of guys by October 19th, getting close. Like Blake Cashman, just about ready to go. Like, I don't think it's going to be beyond the 4-game short-term IR. CJ Ham, same deal. So at that point, I guess we're just waiting on Aaron Jones, which should be soon thereafter the Eagles game.
Scooby loves that. On Harrison Smith, let's talk about that too, because PFF cannot quantify what your presence as almost a coach on the field means. And I'm ordinarily sort of scoff at that at times. Like, it can become cliched, right? We're keeping this veteran around but with Harrison Smith, it's the truth. Like, it's very hard to quantify what he means, but from where he lines up, what he does, and we talked about this on PD the first show today, Dukes. When you see what Flores is doing from a schematic standpoint, he's showing Tampa 2, he's showing different coverages, and he's doing it all before pre-snap. Harrison Smith is absolutely, I think, and so is Metellus, but they are instrumental to that because they're the ones that have to decipher and see things in real time. So on Smith, his play might drop off a little bit as far as, like, this is not 2017 physically, but the smarts don't. If anything, they've increased. And so his impact on this defense, even not playing every snap, but just playing select snaps, I think is incredibly important because, to your point there, yes, Ivan Pace, when he doesn't have some guidance, is an okay player. With guidance, because he's a good athlete, he becomes a good player.
Yes, Ivan benefits so much from Hitman being on the field. At one point, not that long ago, Ivan was the green dot guy. And it just has been too much for Ivan. Transitioned to Cashman, now Eric Wilson, but Ivan it's too much. But incredible athlete, right? So, yeah, I mean, just Hitman was, I'm telling you, just diagnosing so many different things pre-snap, helping Ivan, among many, being in the right position. It also helped to play a guy like Jake Browning, who I know has shown a little bit over the years. Nice little story from where he was to where he is now. It changes, right? A-Raj into Flacco the next 2 weeks, 2 quarterbacks who presumably have seen just about everything. So I don't know how much they'll be able to do pre-snap to confuse those guys. But yes, just the presence of Harrison, just to be able to line guys up. I mean, to me, he doesn't have the green dot, but to me, Harrison Smith is a green dot guy out there.
Yeah. Okay, Isaiah Rodgers. So through 3 weeks in the 2025 NFL season, 108 qualified cornerbacks have taken the field in the NFL. Isaiah Rodgers, who logged the first ever perfect score on a single game PFF grade, is the number 1 highest graded cornerback in the league through 3 games. He's been targeted, in addition to like the splash plays, the touchdowns, the forced fumbles, everything you saw. He's been targeted 12 times, only 5 catches, so a 41% completion percentage, and only 48 yards on 12 targets. That's good for when you account for the interception. an 18.8 passer rating when targeting Isaiah Rodgers through 3 games. Now, I expect a little regression, like he's probably going to have a bad game or 2 here and there, but that dude signed Doogie. He was the first free agent they signed, and they signed him for like $5.5 million a year in a market where the top cornerbacks in the league, the Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley Jr., are making $30 million a year at the top of the market. And all the way down at 49th is Isaiah Rodgers in terms of what he's being paid. So an incredible signing through 3 games, and it just looks like Flores identified another guy that could be perfect when elevated in his system.
I mean, that's it, right? I mean, he was a part-time player last year in Philly. And you think about how smart that Philly front office is, and I don't have all the inner workings of how aggressive Philly was, but clearly the Vikings jumped in so fast. Now, hey, we get it. I'm sure Philly had some dialogue at the combine with Rodgers' representation, but yeah, I mean, the Vikings identified him, specifically Flo, and said, hey, that's my guy. They wrapped it up, snap of the fingers within hours of the start of free agency. What I love about Isaiah, so I had a nice chat with him in the locker room on Thursday. I just said, hey, how do you analyze your play through the first 2 games? And it was fine, right, Phil? Like, you just laid out the numbers through 3. He was fine through 2. And he's like, I need to play better. I have to play better. So he had it in his mind that he wasn't playing all that well, even though to me, through the first 2, I didn't think he was any sort of liability or any sort of issue. But yeah, I mean, I thought the athleticism on the first touchdown, just to be able to catch that ball. How many DBs drop that ball?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Catch that ball, then keep his balance,
and
right?
then house
the
it.
speed is off the chart.
How many catch it? Not as many as people think. And then how many from that point score a touchdown on it with enough speed and burst? Right? It was
it's
much tougher than it looks.
Yeah. Now Grenard, one heck of a block. I don't know if that O lineman from Cincy would have made the tackle or not, but Grenard seemingly blocked him for about 15 yards. But yeah, I thought it was a heck of a play. Like, I don't know how many DBs, Phil. It's a select few that make that play. Then the second touchdown, like, the game was a little in doubt. Now, I thought at 14-0, okay, the Vikings are going to win the game. But 17-3, the Bengals are marching. They get the ball to start the third quarter. They were at, the 36, 35-yard line. Rodgers makes the play on Fan at, about the 29 or 30-yard line. I'm just thinking, though, if the Bengals can find a way, they still had 30 yards to go. But if they score a touchdown, if it's 17-10, then the Bengals start with the ball in the third quarter. There's a little bit of doubt and just a phenomenal play, right? Just to knock the ball out, then to grab it and have the instincts and all that. Yeah, and even on the ball into the end zone, on T. Higgins. Now, I thought maybe Higgins should have had that ball, but Rodgers did enough to distract. Yeah, I thought it was a good play by Rodgers. So, yeah, I mean, just he's been fantastic. Remember, like entering week 1, we were like, they need another corner. Now, I still think depth-wise they could use another corner. I wouldn't be shocked if that's something that still takes place, soon down the road. Fabian Moreau still can be elevated. Jeff Okudah, fine, but I think some of that was we wondered about Rodgers. Like, is he just a part-time player? Can he ascend to a regular role? Well, to me at this point, all those questions have been answered.
When we heard as much as we did from O'Connell about how much Flores loved him, I actually thought he's fine then. Now Okudah, I still question, but the Rodgers love, because when the Vikings signed him, I'm like, I mean, he got suspended for gambling, so I've heard his name before, but I don't really know much about him. But I will say this, keep your antennas up for this, because I think we're going to see it at some point in time. It's going to be very situational. He will end up returning some kicks that the Vikings have to have. And this goes back to Matt Daniels at the podium in the springtime, I think, because Rodgers was working on kick returns, and I watched it. I'm like, oh my God, because speed and he can cut. And I said to Daniels, this is like ideal. And he's like, yeah, I know, I'm politicking for it. I'm trying. Now, clearly he's a starting cornerback. He's not going to return kicks full time. But I do think that we will see some, I think it was 98 punt return by Moss in KC, right? It's like, what's Moss returning that for? And then he returned it for a touchdown. With what we saw in those returns on Sunday, I'm pretty certain there will come a time or times this season, key kickoff returns, Isaiah Rodgers will get the ball.
Oh, absolutely, right? And hey, like, I love that the kick return is back. To me, it's a fun play, and so I'm fine with the adjustments they've made just to see returns now. So, yeah, at some point there will be a key return that they need, and, yeah, I do think Isaiah will be back there. He's practiced it, as you laid out. So, yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. Oh, by the way, he wants to do it. He understands why they're holding him back, but trust me, he's very, very, very open-minded. I've spoken with him about that. He would love to do it. So, yeah, at some point this year, I absolutely would take the over of 0.5 Isaiah Rodgers kick returns.
Before we get Doogie's thoughts on Kevin O'Connell's comments and upcoming conundrum with his quarterback room, we'll get Doogie's thoughts on that in a second here. But the Minnesota Vikings scratch-off ticket is available for our audience, Judd.
And looky what the sports dad has right here.
Go.
Yeah, come back to me. Camera B, right here. Look at that. That is the new scratch game, the Viking scratch game, which can make your year, your season, or your day. Every time that you play, you have a chance at $100,000 plus fantastic second chance prizes like cash and Vikings season tickets. So just say I'm in and play that new Viking scratch game today. Must be 18 or older to play with our friends from the Minnesota Lottery. It doesn't get any better than the opportunity to win and do it with your favorite team being the scratch-off subject.
I want to tell you guys about something fun that's coming to the Twin Cities here. Viking Fest. That's right. Viking Fest. October 4th and 5th, and then October 11th and 12th. Viking Fest is a bold new celebration of Viking heritage, Norse mythology, and living history. This is the largest Viking festival in the country. So if you're looking for a legendary family adventure this fall, step into the world of Vikings, like actual Vikings at Viking Fest, Minnesota. You'll see a historical Viking encampment, Viking combat and live weapons demonstrations, over 5 stages of music, comedy, and theater. You can find out more information and get tickets at vikingfest.com. Viking Fest, Minnesota at the Dakota County Fairgrounds for 2 epic weekends, October 4th and 5th, and October 11th and 12th. Tickets at vikingfest.com. So, Dukes, Kevin O'Connell was asked by Kevin Seifert yesterday, essentially, will J.J. McCarthy regain the starting quarterback job whenever he's physically ready? And O'Connell said, first and foremost, he's got to get healthy. And then I don't think it's one of those things where it's, hey, he's healthy the night before a game, we're going to throw him out there and say, go figure it out type of a thing. He continued, so he did say that they want McCarthy to be able to use his mobility, so that's going to be a factor in the ankle recovery. And his ability to practice cannot be affected by the injury, so they're going to gauge that. But quote from O'Connell, I think we saw, as phenomenal as he was getting prepared for the Atlanta game, he did miss practice that week. And when you're in the phase of building up the 10,000 reps, the 10,000 hours of what it takes to play the position at a very high level, which we know J.J. McCarthy is going to do, you can't cut corners on that. And that also doesn't require an answer on that question today about like what will he do after the bye week. So really interesting, layered, nuanced answer to that question. What did you make of it and their current situation with Wentz and injured McCarthy?
Well, I mean, I'd love to know exactly why KOC cited JJ missing that Thursday practice. I get the importance of a Wednesday practice and a Thursday practice, but why cite that? And so the tentacles are up. Why did KOC reference JJ missing just one practice? But clearly that, I guess in KOC's mind, I'm opining somewhat here, but maybe led to JJ not playing so well that Sunday against Atlanta. But yeah, I'm very interested about pointing to that missed Thursday practice. I do think there's something to be said about they do want to see where he's at. Like, okay, not playing against Pittsburgh, not playing against Cleveland, but making the trip, bye week, JJ still being around the facility, getting some work in, even if it's, in the film room, whatever, but then seeing where JJ is on Monday, October 13th, then I do think there's something to be said if the ankle isn't responding by that Thursday or Friday, that you don't play JJ on October 19th against the Eagles. But let's see where he's at on Monday, October 13th. But hey, like the Vikings knew it was going to be a little bit of a roller coaster. It wasn't going to be perfect early on. Oh, by the way, let's see JJ in there with Christian Darrisaw, with the aforementioned Jordan Addison, with CJ Ham. I'll be surprised, Phil. And I get it. It's a fun talker. No doubt about it. It's a very fun talker because I'm telling you, pointing to that missed Thursday practice is very, very fascinating to me. But I will be surprised if the ankle is responding. Now, legit high ankle sprain, but he's out of the boot. Okay. But if the ankle is in a good spot on Monday, October 13th, I'll be surprised if McCarthy isn't out there against the Eagles.
I think part of what he's doing, though, with the quotes that he gave yesterday, I think O'Connell also very much is pointing to, if we feel in any way, shape, or form that ankle won't allow him to run and protect himself, he ain't playing. And the interesting thing is, it's not wrong because, and I know McCarthy's been hurt twice now, folks. I get that, okay? But he is not at a point in his career where he can just abandon the run. So, like, that's the thing, is he got hurt running the ball, and that sucks, but he has to have that option. He's too good of an athlete, and quite frankly, he's not developed enough as an NFL quarterback to say, just drop back and throw passes. So I think that creates, I think, cushion for O'Connell as well, because if he doesn't come back for the Philadelphia game, there will be some who say, oh, you're benching him. And he'll come back with, no, I'm not benching him. He can't protect himself yet. So I do think O'Connell has built in a little bit of I'm not benching him. Here is what we're doing. But Dukes, to go back to your point, and I mean, this to me is the key question. What if they come back from Europe, they've won 2 games, and Carson Wentz is playing well? Like, that's where, I mean, it's Philadelphia. And I get the fact that we all want McCarthy to play, but it's Philadelphia, and it starts this gauntlet. I don't even know there's a good time to put the guy in if they're playing well. And how do you go into a locker room and tell a bunch of veterans, we're going back to the kid? So I think this becomes, for O'Connell, because it can't just be, well, I developed quarterbacks and we'll be fine. He's going to go into that room, and if he says, hey, look, I know we've won, but we're going back to McCarthy, you're crazy if you don't think he's going to get some sideways looks from some players.
Yeah, but not everyone. I think that locker room feels pretty darn strong about McCarthy. But yeah, it's all about mobility, right? Then you think about that short week. So you play on October 19th, then you play on October 23rd on the road at the LA Chargers. And so if the ankle is not in a good spot, all of a sudden, to me, we're looking beyond October 23rd. But yeah, I think it comes down to, how much can he move? That mobility, that running is such a big part of what can make him a pretty darn successful quarterback, that he needs to have that. And hey, oh, by the way, I do think KOC loved what he saw from Carson Wentz on Sunday. Letting the ball rip at 2.3, 2.4 seconds. So not holding the ball as long as JJ McCarthy, accepting some sacks. Like Wentz told us post-game Sunday, hey, there's some plays I'd love to have back. Those sacks. And I'm thinking, whoa, Carson, what are you talking about? That was brilliant that you took those sacks. I've seen you make a lot of boneheaded decisions over the years. Taking the sack was the right thing to do. Congratulations, Carson. And so I just think KOC really, really liked what he saw from Carson. So yeah, building in some of that protection in the event that, hey, it is Carson Wentz on October 19th. But I'm just telling you, I'd love to tell you I know definitively right now, but I need to hear about the condition of the ankle coming off that bye Sunday heading into the week of October 13th.
Yeah. Darren Doogie Wolfson, 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. Any other final little Vikings morsels? We got Thursday. We can dive into more too once we get. They're flying out Thursday, so we'll. That's kind of
Thursday night. Same plan as the previous trips over there, and so yeah, once they land over in Dublin, they will head right to the practice field. And so they have this, master plan, right?
So they're gonna like
Has
sleep
worked.
on. They're sleeping on the
Sleep
plane.
on the plane.
They will sleep
Yeah.
on the plane. Oh, yeah.
Go to the bar first, though. You got pints. Who cares about the game? Go to the bar. Enjoy some Guinnesses, boys. You're in Ireland.
Oh,
Take some Padregs. Take some of the
Padregs.
Padregs with you.
yeah, Hitman on Sunday was referencing having a Guinness or two potentially. So yeah,
It's good for you.
I completely get it. And everybody's going over there except for Bartholomew and Ty Chandler when you think about just where they're at injury wise. But that also points to just Ham, hopefully being back for week 5. Blake Cashman progressing, so being in a position to come back after the bye. So yeah, I mean, they're trending in the right direction injury wise. Justin School also in a good spot, coming off missing a game with concussion symptoms. Justin School, the backup left tackle, should be back on Sunday as well.
Darren Doogie Wolfson, our buddy from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. Doogs, good to see you, and we'll talk in a couple days, man.
All right, love you boys. See ya.
All right, Darren, we'll see him on Thursday. Also, if you missed the main Purple Daily episode, the State of the Vikings episode, you can check that out on the Purple Daily feeds. And Trenches with Boone film breakdown dropping tomorrow morning. See you guys.